Okay, so I've got the end frame in. I've just literally screwed it down to the floor with a couple of screws, about 5x60 screws. Now I'm just going to make up frames for the two sides out of the 2x2 material. So I'm going to keep it off this end frame slightly. As we look in the corner here, I'm going to keep the end frame away from the corner in this void here where there's a cavity, so that when they do the spray foam insulation, they can get all in this corner around this post and secure it in place. So the side frame or the stud frame that's going to go down this end wall will start here, and then I'll work out my 8-foot length off of this post here, so that I know that the sheets are going to fit without having to cut anything to size in the workshop. So it's going to be easy if we work out now the stud section so that it works with the sheet material that I'm going to use. And then to hold this in place, once this frame's here, I'll just screw perhaps a couple of battens on the face, like an inch lath, just to hold it before the foam goes off, or while the foam goes off. And once that foam's set it in place, it's going nowhere. And then after that, the boarding on top will tie it all together and stop anything moving. So it should be nice and strong and secure once that boarding's been screwed in place. So I'll just make frames for the entire length of the container now and get them screwed down on the floor, and then we'll connect them together at the top of the container with a batten between the two frames each side. So the container's 12 metres long. I'm going to cut uprights in at 600 centres roughly, so that's going to be 24 uprights per side roughly. So I'm going to cut 48 lengths off for the uprights, and then if I need a few more at the end of the job, that's no worries. And then I'm just going to build the frames in pairs, so there's one for each side of the container. So I'll make one frame and mark it out, and then screw the other frame together on top of it, so that I know we've got a pair and everything's going to match up nicely. So the container's out of level by about 5mm across the length, front to back, and it's about 3mm out across the width, slightly different each end. So I'm just going to see if the forklift will pick it up and I can shove some steel shims underneath. I mean, it's probably going to settle a bit more with use, but it's been here a couple of weeks and it's settled down pretty well into them pads, so I'm fairly confident that if I shim it now, that it's not going to move an awful lot from this point. So I've marked up the gap from that end frame and then the 8-foot length of boarding from that end frame, so it'll fix to it and the ends of the board will land on the centre of a timber. And I've marked that on the base rail and the head of the stud wall frame, and then I'm just infilling in between at roughly 600 centres. Just want to make sure that the ends of each of these smaller frames that I'm doing in sections don't land on the end of a board, because the strength in the frame is going to come from it being boarded over the joint, so that board is actually strengthening the frame. though, isn't it? Hey? Right, so we've got a fuse board going up here where the main incoming cable's going. Light switch on the back side here, so near the opening door. And then I'm just going to put 4 sockets, 2 at this end and then 2 near the far end. So I'm going to run that on a ring main, so if I want to put any more sockets in, I can just tap into it and drop a line down, and it's dead easy. I need to come from the fuse board with some first fix cables to the switch, and the switch needs to run along to the lights in the ceiling, and then we just need to get a ring main of 2.5mm cable all the way around the container. Right, so as a little reminder to myself on the electrics, I can just quickly run through. We've got a socket coming down here on this first timber, part of the ring main going up to the board, then that ring main runs across on that second timber in the roof, and then down, and that's at 2.3 metres tall. So off the floor of the OSB to the top of the OSB, 2.3 metres to this horizontal cable, then it runs down the side of that timber there, where the light switch is, or light socket. Again, run along, next ring main drop over here, runs in the middle of two timbers, up and over on the end on that second timber in, this side of it. It runs back along, again at 2.3 metres tall, back to the circuit board. Light socket, so the feed runs along with that ring main feed, and drops straight down to the light switch. And then they just run along and follow the ring main and go up at the same positions.